Okay, test test. Hello. How's everyone doing today? So, we got some news to talk about. PGR is catching up to CN. Yay! Well, at least hopefully, yay. Um, so there's a 50-50 on this. There's some good aspects to it, and there's some bad aspects to it. Obviously, as you may know, PGR has been kinda a not so greatish thing to for content creators on global, just because we've always been behind compared to CN, and the game itself is already niche as is. So yeah, this is an interesting announcement. But speaking of, let's actually go through and read what's said. So, announcement on Punishing Grey Raven Global Version Synchronization Plan. This also goes for, I believe, other servers as well. So it's also referring to like JP and KR, and maybe also the TW server. But basically, they're trying to have us catch up with the mainland China server. Here, dear commandants, we are truly grateful for the overwhelming support and affection that PGR has garnered from commandants since the inception of our global servers. However, due to differences in server versions, players in regions beyond mainland China have been unable to access the latest content firsthand. We have noticed that this challenge has limited our commandants from fully immersing themselves in the joy of our game at times. In order to ensure that commandants from all corners of the world can enjoy the latest characters, narratives, events, and in-game features for a more fulfilling gaming experience, we have decided to expedite the update process in regions outside of mainland China, and we will strive to achieve synchronization of versions across all servers by the end of 2025. This objective will be realized through consolidation of content from multiple versions. The estimated duration of each integrated version is approximately 6 weeks, during which we will collectively update characters and event content from various versions. So the integration plan. Duration of each integrated version, approximately 6 weeks. Details are subject to announcement on our regional servers, including content, characters, and stories from 2 to 3 versions. Some version-specific events will be adjusted if needed. Commencement schedule. The initiation timing may fluctuate based on the progress of versions across our global servers. Our target is for all servers to synchronize with the mainland China server by the end of 2025. We acknowledge the potential concerns that our version integration plan may raise among our commandants. Please be assured that we will take the following measures to minimize any disruptions to your gaming experience during the integration process. 1. The version resource and paid content. To ensure that every commandant can continue to enjoy our game during the version integration, we will provide various compensations on version resources and also adjustments on paid packs tailored to the version progress in each region. These compensations and adjustments will cover a range of aspects, including but not limited to event rewards, purchase limits in shops, new monthly passes, tactical assessment manual, and more. Detailed notifications will be included later across our regional servers. Early event calendar release. In our commitment to transparency and player convenience, the events calendar for the integrated versions will be released ahead of schedule. This will enable all commandants to plan your gameplay effectively. Given the varying version progress in each region, the event calendar corresponding to each server will be shared before the update of the integrated versions. Stay tuned by following our social media accounts. Furthermore, we have prepared special bonuses for all commandants to commemorate the official initiation of our global version synchronization plan. 2,500 construct tickets and a new themed event for global versions will be open to all servers. Detailed notifications will be issued later, and so on and so forth. Now, aside of that, they're also doing something which is the global synchronization themed events, which is the second part that was said that's happening on all servers. which is after each new update, you'll be able to claim 300 event tickets, character gacha tickets from the event page, and then also logging in daily, you'll be able to get 2 serum bundles from the event page. And by completing the specified activity missions, you'll also be able to obtain more construct tickets, basic tickets, character training materials, and other rewards, and so forth, and the objectives will reset every version update. So that's pretty much going on for everyone, all servers. So now let's talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. So obviously the good, finally we'll be able to catch up. Content creators won't be having issues with like being behind on content and really losing viewer counts because of it. Though I don't think our viewer counts will really be going up much regardless afterwards either. I mean, hopefully it does. But generally speaking, it's unlikely to, given my experience. But well, my experience is also my experience. Beyond that, again, we won't be behind, so we'll be caught up. So we'll be ready for like the collab as well when DMC comes around. If assuming they hold DMC collab off until a later time when everyone is on the same page, which I think that might be what they're planning to do. I'm not too certain. It really depends on like how long it takes to get to the end. Their plan is by the end of 2025, so like December next year most likely. But it's possible because they did say they were going to be doing like 2 to 3 versions, which means they could be doing 3 versions sometimes, which might put it a little bit earlier, give or take like 5 or 6 months, which given the time frame between when Black Rock Shooter was announced to when it was actually released was roughly around that range, give or take. It was December of that year when it was announced, going into Crimson Weave, if I remember correctly, and then yeah, because it was along with Crimson Weave, and then it didn't happen until after the Amigos patch, which was like 6 months later. So yeah, like 5 to 6, 7 months. That's probably what they're trying to shoot for, especially with the recent announcement of the DMC5 collab. So ideally, we'd probably be on the same page when DMC happens. So that would be all cool and dandy. Now let's talk about the bad. Obviously, the bad would be things are expedited. Some patches we have 2 S ranks in a row with neither of those S ranks being free. So like for free to plays, catching up is gonna be super hard. Unless what they do is one solution to that is they double the rewards and they do it for everyone, from weekly events and so forth, like weekly stuff. So just all that doubled, including the Chinese server, mainland China, because they would obviously throw a fit if they don't get that stuff while we do. So just doubling the rewards, base rewards for this time frame for everyone, that would help. Adjusting the cost of like packs, I guess, to be more palatable to like spenders. I don't think they're gonna do that, but what they could do as an alternative is one, include more wishing banners, more runs of the wishing banner. So for those of you who aren't aware, wishing banner is usually held once to twice, sometimes 3 times a year, where it's a banner that's basically like the anniversary banner. You get it on non-anniversary times, so like Chinese New Year, for example, which is sort of an anniversary for our CN guys. One time, like in the first year, we got it on Thanksgiving for global. So there's like that. We haven't gotten it at all though last year or this year for Thanksgiving. So unfortunately, they've sort of stopped that, and that's probably because I imagine you probably see them complained, even though I haven't really heard much about that, whether or not that was the case. But there's that, and yeah, there's the anniversary banner. I lied a little bit. It's not once or twice. It's not twice or 3 times a year. It's technically only twice, if at all. But usually it's only one wishing banner a year, one anniversary banner a year. Ultimately, if they add that to where we get more, like 3 to 4, the wishing banners, like 3 to 4 runs within this next period of a year, that would definitely help offset the cost for like people who are spenders to like get double S, SS3, triple S, etc. Well, that's one solution. Another solution, and this solution probably wouldn't go well with our friends over in China land, just because this would be reducing the cost of packs for each version, so ultimately it comes out to the same cost for us, but it gives us all the rewards for those versions, which would be nice for our pockets, for like the spenders on our side. But CN definitely would not like that, even though we're still basically getting the same packs and everything. They just wouldn't like that because for us it'd be cheaper, and then they'd complain like, oh, we paid this much for all this stuff, but now they're paying less for all that stuff. So I don't think that would really go well. And so ultimately keeping like the same packs, same prices is ultimately probably the best, but having just more of those packs. But again, that only like supports the super duper whales. So another alternative alongside the wishing banners that they could do is they could basically include more paid S rank selectors that go up to the current character on that patch. Well, or the character just before that patch. So for example, if it's a patch with an S rank, like Luna for example, we would get an S rank paid selector up until what? Chu. And same deal with like Lucid Dreamer or Pyros for example. Their patch would probably be together anyways, I think. So like Lucid Dreamer Pyros patch, we get an S rank selector up to ideally Lucid Dreamer. Realistically, I could see them doing it up to Solus Tune, Hanying Forger, as some people like to call her. That would be most likely what would happen, though ideally they would include just a free paid, not free, but paid S rank selector up to Lucid Dreamer. That would definitely help at least square things over a little bit, so that hey, people don't have to spend 15k BC instead all the time to like get a character and get their ranks up. So like if you're planning to spend for like say double S or triple S, double S is technically free regardless, but triple S, like triple S at the bare minimum or S plus, instead of having to hoard 45k character construct tickets, you only have to hoard like 30k. Yeah, 30k. Or well, roughly between like 20k to 30k, give or take. Typically, probably like 30k, most likely. That would at least minimize the help at least offset the problem, so that for people that are still getting like triple S, like 2 characters in one patch, for example, The closest patch that would be like that would be Star Trail, Nanami, and Ishmael, where they're both S ranks doubled up in a row, both paid. So what they do is they would do 30k on Nanami, 30k on Ishmael, and then they would buy 2 paid selectors. Probably not. Well, actually, yeah, because 100, the maximum pack is like 8,000 BC, I think. 7,300 actually. 7,300 BC. It's usually 2 packs to get 1 character if you're hard buying BC. Usually the discounted packs, like all the event packs and stuff, usually offset that extra 100 cost. So ultimately it'd still come around to like the same cost, give or take, if they include like 1 S rank selector for each character. In the case of if it's like 2 S ranks at once, like Ishmael and Star Trail will be, then it would be basically, yeah, you want 2 S rank paid selectors in that case. If it's in a case where they always have 1 free character and 1 S rank, then you could get away with 1 paid selector, and then having just the spenders offset the cost with packs and stuff like they usually do. For the rest, and so on and so forth. Now the ugly, because pretty much I pretty much covered all my ideas there. Basically doubling up rewards and stuff for everyone, including CN. And that goes for like all the stuff like Pain Cage, regular weeklies, etc., etc. Having all of that doubled. And then also, yeah, those paid selectors as alternatives to having to hit the cost of like 1 extra character range of like 15k BC. That would definitely help for like spenders. For the non-spenders, obviously they'll still have their issues here or there, but with some planning, since everything is going to be doubled, they'll still have the same sort of economy. And that's like the most important thing, is so that that everyone gets the same sort of economy out of this without benefiting people too much, besides, say, for instance, CN. Because CN is obviously like the biggest spenders of the game and stuff. They'll probably complain here or there if we get stuff without them getting stuff. So obviously them getting extra stuff along with us getting stuff will ultimately help the CN guys out a bit. That might make things worse on like their economy over there. It's hard to really say, but it is what it is. And at the very least, things will be evened out roughly over the costs. Obviously, CN's having more opportunities to build characters more is going to make things rougher on their ranking systems over there. But honestly, I think their ranking systems is already very tight anyways. For like all the bros that completely do like all S+ every character and stuff. I imagine it's very tight in like Hero and Legend over there, regardless. So it's not like much would be changing. It's just for global. We definitely need something to at least even out completely the balance across the board. And the ugly is obviously if we get none of that, then everyone's gonna be disappointed, and that could potentially kill the game as far as like people paying, especially in global, because basically things are gonna be rushed. Prices for obviously people that want to have the same sort of economy that they currently have are going to be much higher, and of course that's going to go over poorly with our spenders here in global, and that could be rough. And who knows what our friends at Curl are thinking. Please, Curl, I hope you watch this. I would greatly appreciate it, and it's just good to have this feedback, because feedback is important. I know you made this decision. I know you guys made this decision not lightly, so it was like a very hard decision to make. But do understand that you don't want to kill what reputation you have provided over years for like being very player focused and friendly to them. So while it's nice that we're getting all these event stuff, overall it has to equate to effectively what we're getting currently as of now. But I understand the need for wanting to catch up totally, and I've been wanting to catch up for all these years ever since I got into knowing what PGR was in 2019, a couple months after seeing released, and just waiting those 2 years for global to release, and then over the past 3 years, just seeing that slowly erode. It was nice to be able to know how to plan and stuff, and just slowly catching up. But it was also very boring and stuff. Well, I wouldn't say boring, but it was also felt very off as well. Just not being able to be up to date with everyone like all our friends over on the other servers. So ultimately, so long as things are kept consistent, everything should be fine. If things aren't consistent and players realize, both free to play and our paid players, that they're basically being asked to put more of their resources without getting as much back to equate it out, then people are going to be angry. Obviously, people are going to be very angry. So overall, I'd say don't turn back to this decision. It's a good decision. Just make sure that you keep the player economy as it is currently. So with that, thank you all, and I hope y'all have a good one. Bye bye.